here we are with my old friend, colleague, and Hall of Famer Steve Flink. We want to discuss what happened in the Australian Open on the ladies' side, because there was a moment where all the seeds were going out of the tournament. And there were only three top tenner reaching the final rounds, and two of them, Coco Gauff and Sabalenka, were on the same side with Krejcikova, while in the other half of the draw, there were number 50, number 93, number 75, and the only seed there was the Chinese Qinwen Zheng.
Yeah, Ubaldo, you described it so well. If you could know that this scenario was going to unfold that you just described, with so many top players losing on Swiatek's half of the draw, you would only wish that Coco Gauff and the Sabalenka had ended up on opposite halves, because the semifinal is going to be more like a final. First of all, it's highly likely that whoever wins the Coco match against Sabalenka wins the tournament. And it's just too bad in a way for the fans, taking nothing away from the other two semifinalists, Yastremska and Zheng. But I just feel like it's unfortunate, because I think they're going to give us a high quality semifinal. And Sabalenka won this tournament a year ago. Coco won the US Open. So it's a battle of Grand Slam champions. One of them is going to win their second Grand Slam title, most likely, if they win this match. So I think it's unfortunate the way it turned out in that sense, because you're not going to follow up Coco or Sabalenka them playing. It would have been nice if they were playing Swiatek in the final, or one of the other top players. It's not going to happen. And I think whoever ends up in the final from the other half is going to be a little nervous too, playing in such a big match for the first time.
Yeah. And well, between Gauff and Sabalenka, you mentioned the two last slam winners. No, well, not really the last, because Sabalenka had won the Australian Open.
Sabalenka,
right. Yeah. But well, Gauff won 4 times out of 6 against Sabalenka, and that's it's almost a surprising record, because she's the youngest one, and she should be the less experienced, the least experienced. Instead, she's up in the results, and I don't know what will happen, because with Sabalenka, I never know. If I think
Ubaldo, yeah. Can I interrupt you for 1 second? I don't think I've ever heard you say those 3 words. I don't know.
Well,
you do know. No, I'm kidding you. But
no, but I'm kidding you too. You are interrupting me. How do you dare?
No, but Ubaldo, let me just say this regarding your it's interesting. Coco, I think the reason she has the edge against Sabalenka is that she's so quick. Her court coverage is so remarkable. She runs down a lot of shots from Sabalenka that would be winners against any other player, and gets them back. When she came from behind to win the US Open final in 3 sets over Sabalenka, that to me was one of the keys, was her movement around the court, and how she started to frustrate Sabalenka, who then starts going for too much, as she used to do frequently in the old days against a lot of players, overhitting, pressing, making mistakes. And I think that's how Coco ends up beating Sabalenka, is she invites Sabalenka to beat herself.
That's true. Let's say that Sabalenka, until 1 year ago or so, she was hitting a lot of double faults in the important moments, and then she's very unpredictable, because I saw her losing to Rybakina doing 1 game or something like that recently, so which should never happen, no? Be the player of her status. So I would say that she has more, how can I say, maybe more qualities than Coco Gauff, but Gauff is more consistent, probably. She's more regular. She doesn't make presents, while Sabalenka can make presents, and you never know when even out off Christmas is capable to do it.
No, it's true, but I think that Sabalenka has improved in that department against other players. I don't think she makes as many mistakes as she used to. I think she's more consistent, which is why last year, Ubaldo, not only did she win here, but she was very close to the French Open final. It got away from her there against Mukova, and then she lost the semi and lost the semi at Wimbledon and came back to the finals of the U.S. Open. That consistency at the majors is proof that she now, match in, match out, is more consistent. But she's still prone to beating herself on certain occasions, and there's nobody more capable of bringing that out of her than Coco.
Yeah, and about the other two girls, probably. I mean, I'm happy to see a Chinese girl in the semis, because I remember when there was Lina, who won two slams. She won Roland Garros and she won the Australian Open.
Yeah.
Even if she beat our Italian girl Schiavone on the way, I mean, I still appreciate very much Lina. And I think it's good for Chinese tennis to have again a player capable to join the top 10, because she's 12, but she will be 10 at least in
Yeah.
the top 10.
Yes.
And then Yamstrenska, I'm happy for her, because to be honest, in these days, when I see an Ukrainian tennis player, I always try to support, because for all what they're suffering at home, their families and so on, the fact that there are, and there was Kostyuk in the quarters of finals. There was
Yes.
Svitolina also in the last 16. I mean, I was happy for them, and I think they could give a little pleasure to a population which is really suffering a lot.
Ubaldo, you echo my sentiments. I could not agree more. Kostyuk played very well against Coco, by the way, who didn't have her best day. And actually, she had Coco down 5-1 in the first set and lost that set, and eventually lost in 3. The first set was the key. But she's very impressive. She needs to learn to be a bit more consistent. Her shot selection is sometimes questionable, but she's a great shot maker. Yastremska, I want to say something about her. Ubaldo, she's in the qualifying for this tournament. Every match in the qualifying went to 3 sets, and yet she gets into the tournament, and now here she is in the semifinals. That's a remarkable achievement. But I so much agree with you about the Ukrainians and what they're going through, and how we must be sympathetic to them. And Svitolina, of course, is that she got hurt, which was too bad, and but she's a very appealing player, and all of them are. I think all of those women conduct themselves exceedingly well.
Yeah, it's Jan Stranska is the first lady coming from qualifying since '78 at the Australian Open, and while the last one to qualify to come from a qualifying event in a slam was Raducanu at the U.S. Open 2021.
And look at that, Raducanu, who goes through the qualifying and then 7 matches in the main draw, 10 matches, never loses a set.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Crazy.
That is the most extraordinary thing that happened. I think I couldn't think about anything more than maybe I still remember the 1989 Roland Garros, when Chang won the tournament in Paris. There was also a huge surprise, and that year also Sanchez won the women. I mean, that was
that was a great year. Ubaldo, just a quick story about that. When Chang got to the final, and as you remember, he made the great comeback in the round of 16 against Lendl from 2 sets down, and Chang was cramping, and then he's going to play Edberg in the finals, and obviously he beat Edberg also in 5 sets. I interviewed Tony Pickard. You remember Tony Pickard, who was Stefan's coach, and I asked him what he thought about the final. He said, it's just going to be another day at the office for Stefan. Well, it wasn't a very pleasant day at the office.
Well, listen, Steve, thanks a lot for being with us, for being with Ubi Tennis. We will be in touch again very soon to comment the end of this Australian Open, if you're available, and I hope so.
I'm available, Ubaldo. And before we part ways today, I want to commend you on your choice of sweater. That's a very elegant looking sweater. Today, you've outdressed me.
Well, it's the first time I see you without a tie. I mean, I thought, have you sold them all? I mean, it was your father presenting the ties to you. And
I still have a few ties left. Don't worry.
okay, thanks a lot to Steve Flink, my old friend, colleague, and Hall of Famer. See you soon.
Thank you, Ubaldo.